Hit go live. 10 minutes to go till we actually start. But it is a short stream. Hit go live. So for those people who don't know what's happening, gotta give them 10 minutes of it being on their feed so they can maybe see it show up. Oh, because YouTube is a strange mistress. It doesn't show up on your subscriptions till it actually goes live. Besides the countdown from like a super long time ago. Hey, Cash. 141. How you doing? 8 minutes till we start this up. What do we have today? I'll take a look at the factions. Okay, there's some good ones. A mix. A mix of interesting factions and then the boring poo-poo stinky factions. Not bad. We actually had Skaven today, which is new. About to go to the gym in an hour. How about you? I also am going to the gym after this stream. Nice. Nice. Oh boy. It got cold again all of a sudden in Minnesota. So now we're just cold and waiting. Generally in a waiting period in life though. Just between jobs right now. My next one starts April 10th. So wrapping up this house because we got to move cities for the new job. So packing up, getting the next house prepared, all those things. It's good. You know what, Cash? Since it's just you and me here, I want to let you know you're my best pal. Best pal in the whole world. Sometimes I feel like we could finish each other's sentences. The other 9 or so people that are here just like, what the fuck? They're not typing at all. just listening to me waste time until we're actually starting. So I scheduled it for 1, so I'll start at 1, which is in 5 minutes. Yeah. We got a patch out today. That was fine. It did some changes for the Tsarina Chariot, but I don't know. She's still really broken on the thing. You're playing Warframe? I remember a bit of that game. I never got super deep into it, but it was cool. It was cool in concept. Muffin Master, NP. Some people intruding on my private conversation with Cash. Get out of here! You weren't invited to this. Alright. 5 minutes left, then we'll get going. Don't you fret. It'll take your life? Oh, nice. I feel like that's why I avoided World of Warcraft throughout my life. I've never played World of Warcraft, but I'm worried I would like it, so I've avoided it. Because I haven't heard that it's a chill time. That it's like, oh yeah, you could just like kind of play it sometimes. It's like, no. If you get into World of Warcraft, say goodbye to the next 4 months. You reviewed my first Skaven multiplayer. Okay. Muffin Master, but I have a follow-up question. If you're just a piece of burnt toast, were you shaped into a muffin? Or did you used to be a muffin and then you got burnt? So now you're just toasted. Back to the Warframe thing. Steam just finally released a $10 Command and Conquer Ultimate Edition, which is like all the super old Command and Conquer games, but they just work on my PC, which this computer doesn't even have a disk drive. And even when I get an external disk drive and I put my old CDs in, Windows 10 just doesn't know how to handle the old games, and I just get a black screen. So I've been kind of reliving some nostalgia, and I was apparently a lot better at video games as a little kid, because holy shit, a lot is happening fast. I booted up some Command & Conquer Generals, and that was stressful. Only knowing what every single unit did saved me. And then I booted up Red Alert 3, which I only played once, so I didn't have every unit memorized. And I'm looking at all these menus of units, like, and I generally think I'm pretty good at video games. I'm looking at all these menus of units, I'm like, what the fuck do all these things do? What's this? And in maybe 30 seconds of game time, already the AI has sent like 2 waves of troops at me. I'm like, what the fuck? What the hell? I have a power plant, an ore refinery, and a barracks. How do you already have like 20 conscripts running at me? What the fuck is this? So I just got my ass kicked. But when did... I played a lot of Red Alert 2 when I was a kid. When did Red Alert 3 even come out? How old was I? Let's find out. 3. 2008. Oh, okay. I was still pretty young. I was still pretty with it. So I was 14 when Red Alert 3 came out. And I crushed that game. I started playing video games like Command & Conquer when I was 3 on my dad's laptop. Cash gets it! He fucking gets it! Dude, I was playing... My dad got Red Alert 1 in... When was it? When did Red Alert 1 come out? Hold on. There's 2 minutes till the actual event starts, so I'm not even wasting your time yet. Red Alert. 1996. So it came out when I was 2. Yeah, and Dad got it the next year. So I was like 3 or 4. Same. And we had like normal kid-friendly games that I played, like one where you go to Egypt and you just click on stuff and like you solve little teeny tiny puzzles for your little teeny tiny brain. And my dad was playing Red Alert, so sometimes he would just let me like click around on the units or whatever if he was on the phone. But yeah, my mom was not happy about that. She was like, there's people dying in that game. My dad's like, shit, I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. Good times. Good times. All right, we have 1 minute. All right, time to focus on Total Warhammer 3. Let's go. Good stretch. Oh. 5 high-level action-packed games today. Pop over to the bracket for 1 second. So, if you've not been paying attention to this series, what is going on is it is a clan tournament type deal. If you were paying attention for a Nations event last year, you know the format. But we got a bunch of clan teams together, teams of 5 people from the same clan. They are working together to try and prevail, to prove who is the best clan in the whole world. Yes, yes. Some teams had enough players that they fielded 2 rosters simultaneously. These rosters can have no overlap. Like if Alfredino is on ODM 1, he can never, under any circumstance, play for ODM 2. Even if all 5 of ODM 2 are on a bus and that bus falls off of a cliff, Alfredino cannot sub in. They will need to find 5 completely new players to play. That was one of the stipulations if they're bringing 2 teams, because otherwise that's some bullshit, right? We're in the quarterfinals now. We cast 1 quarterfinal yesterday between NC1 and XMT. XMT prevailed, and today we'll be casting RTK 1 versus ODM 2 to see who will face XMT in the semifinals. My standard disclaimer is I do know who is the winner because I know who is fighting XMT right now. They should have their games done by Sunday, so we already have all those organized and whatnot. But I have not seen these games. I honestly don't remember what the score is. So my reactions will be genuine. I don't know who won player-wise on this team. I just know which team eventually prevailed, though I have forgotten the score. For all I know, it is a 5-0 sweep. I forget. These were played last week. And I was busy finishing up my current job, so I was not exactly paying attention to every replay sent to me. What up, GS? Hey, Rusty. Red Dead Redemption was a good game. That was a good game. I haven't played 2 yet, but 1 was really good. Okie dokie, it is 1:01. If people are not here, then they are late, and that is their problem, but it is no longer yours. You have stuck it out with me, and we will now begin. From the top, we have Menacing Platypus versus ODM's Razel. Let's start casting some games. Dark Elves versus Grand Cathay. Real quick, the last thing I'll say about the format is it is a best of 5, but not in the traditional sense. If one team wins 3, the last 2 games will still get played no matter what. So we will see all 5 games, even if it is a 5-0. Everybody who showed up and practiced to represent their clan will at least get a chance on the field of honor, even if the score is already decided. Okie dokie. Hi, Platy. Red Alert 2 was amazing. It was the best. Zaytang's loud-ass spotting ability is just blowing out my eardrums right now. But for the Dark Elves of Wild Platy, we have 2 Shades. Supreme Sorceress of Beasts with just Flock of Doom to clear out infantry over the course of a game. Coldwood Knights, Witch Elves, and Dark Riders. Then a whole bunch of Dark Shards. Dread Spears and Bleak Swords. Can you stop doing the whoosh whoosh sound? Please, Zaytang. Alright. On the other side, for Cathay, we have 2 Croman, one of which is the Emperor's Croman. Actually, 3 Croman. 4? 4 Croman. And a Great Long Marauder, some Peasant Horsemen, Zaytang the Watcher, Meow Ying with Regrowth and Earthblood, then some Jade Lancers and Peasant Long Spears. Very cav heavy here. The Great Long Marauders dive onto Coldwood Knights, getting a free charge since they are a flying unit. The Coldwood Knights couldn't exactly get countercharge orders onto them or anything. And the Onyx Croman already trying to take out some Dark Shards and Shades. So the Dark Elves quickly getting slammed. There we go. Making sure. My stream wasn't live, so I still saw the Photoshop on the screen. I was like, shit, am I casting a game while they're just staring at Photoshop? Anyway, the Witch Elves are here. I wonder if they pop their Witch Brew or not. It does rampage them, but the increased damage could be good versus the Empress Chrome and just get them to demonic instability crumble. Doesn't look like that'll be the case. As the Dark Elves have pretty much lost 4 units, Cathay has taken some damage on some of theirs, but not a ton. Dark Shards getting into range of the Peasant Long Spears should be a pretty one-sided fight on the side of the Dark Elves. And I do worry a little bit about Zaytang here. He's quite expensive. So to get his value back, he's going to need to stay away from these Dark Shards for quite a while. Jade Lancers and Peasant Horsemen's going to roll out on these Shades soon. And there are no Coldwood Knights or anything over here to defend them, so that should just be a dead Shade. Far side Onyx Croman still harassing Dark Shards while Dark Riders try to run them down. We'll see. This is a bit more active of a Cathay build than I think the Dark Elves wanted to deal with. Regrowth is out for the first of the Long Marauders. And Dread Spears and Witch Elves going to do a good job peeling for these Shades who do get to safety. But in come the Flying Croman. One of the Onyx Croman finally starts demonic instability crumbling. So do the Empress Croman, which is quite nice. So a couple good wins there for the Dark Elves that they desperately needed, considering how this game's been going so far. And the Shades lighting up the Long Marauders who did receive the regrowth. So that is even with some healing. They are still that low. Not exactly loving life right now. Bounce power is about dead even. I definitely agree. Both sides have gotten some good trades out here. It was looking really Cathay favored at the start. Then demonic instability taking out 2 Croman is pretty brutal. Peasant Horseman charged down into 2 Coldwood Knights. Should be a dead Peasant Horseman. But I worry both those Coldwood Knights aren't needed to kill that 1 Peasant Horseman. Meanwhile, this is happening in the background. Might be a little bit of an overinvestment. Zaytang is sniping out the Sorceress of Beasts. Even on foot. Normally being on foot makes you tankier. But Zaytang does not care. He really doesn't miss foot characters much, if at all. He's running out of time. Zaytang does not appreciate being surrounded by random chaff and being poked down. So he does need to get his value out now. Meow Ying is down to half HP. Dark Shards are trying to punish, but they should probably just focus on punishing the Long Marauders and Onyx Croman like they have been doing the most of the game. And they really have to stop Zaytang in some way or another. They're going to lose their Supreme Sorceress. It's only a matter of time. Shades line up a shot on Peasant Horsemen while these Dread Spears keep the Jade Lancers off their tail. Peasant Horsemen caught napping a little bit, so they're just going to take a free volley and maybe route off. Zaytang snipes the Sorceress of Beasts. She is real low. We do have some Dark Shards returning. The Long Riders are routed off, only at 200 HP. This volley from the Dark Shards might actually just, like, kill them or shatter them. Either or. Zaytang lines up a shot. And that Dark Elf caster does not appear to be coming back for the rest of this game. We still have a very healthy Cold Knight, still have very healthy Witch Elves and Dread Spears. And some Shades. Dark Elves are also an Elven roster. They don't necessarily need their Lord for leadership. As you can see, she's rallying at 74 HP. So they might be okay here. And Cathay is getting into the very worrying part of their game where it gets down to like just Zaytang and Miao Ying. That's a bad way to be. And the balance of power is slightly favoring the Dark Elves with Zaytang being at full HP. That is a very concerning state of affairs for me right now. Cold One Knights helping to shadow these Jade Lancers, who Razel has just been running around on the outside because he can't seem to get in. These Dread Spears and Witch Elves have been zoning him for most of the time. Onyx Croman trying to get that Dark Elf caster dead, 9 HP. There we go. She has died. That'll be a bigger leadership spike on the Dark Elves instead of her just routing. Again, I don't know if it really matters to the Dark Elves that much. Shades and Dark Shards still trying to punish Zaytang a little bit. Miao Ying running out here in her foot form. Gonna throw Earthbloods and Regrowths on herself. Where'd the capture points go? Never had them. I don't even know what a capture point is. I've never captured anything in my life. First regrowth for Zaytang is here. Is it even overcast? Nope. Regular regrowth. Onyx Croman, the last of their kind, flying in on the back of these Dark Shards. And I wouldn't hate for these Dark Shards to just throw a volley over the Croman's way just to get rid of the last mobility Cathay really has to deal with anything. Witch Elves popped their Witch Brew, giving him insane stats versus Miao Ying. If she has her Dragon transformation, she could just fly up into the sky and dodge these idiots. Doesn't look like she has it right now, and besides, she's just kind of outrunning them. Long Riders are back with 2 leadership. And that healthy Jade Lancer did manage to regroup Zaytang, but it gets in a fight with some Cold One Knights. Ooh, but they mostly get distracted by Zaytang. I guess it's a fine target, but they probably wanted the Jade Lancers. Because the Jade Lancers are much more dangerous than Zaytang at this point. Just because Zaytang can only fight one thing at a time. The Jade Lancers can kind of path through a lot of stuff. We do need to actually take the Onyx Croman off the battlefield. It looks like the Shades are on it now. Some Bleak Swords will be sacrificed for the cause, but it is well worth it to get rid of these Onyx Croman and free up your archers just a little bit further. Demonicus ability should take them once their charge bonus wears off. I saw they were at -12 briefly. And the Witch Elves, Miao Ying did eventually turn to a dragon form just to get away from them, but there we go. The charge is wearing off. Their leadership's looking a lot more vulnerable. Ooh, Shades are actually taking the time to shoot at Miao Ying. I guess she has no healing right now, but that is risky considering the Onyx Croman are now just going to disrupt your Shades for the rest of the game. Still, I think the Dark Elves are doing okay. They just have so many bodies, and Zaytang sucks at that. He's amazing at sniping single things out, but he does not like an attrition fight. Onyx Croman eventually fade away, but so too do the Shades. And these Cold Knights will be a problem. None of the stuff that's alive for Cathay really wants to deal with these Cold Knights. Nice rear charge onto Miao Ying and Zaytang. Maybe they can burst her out. Maybe, but she'll probably just turn back into her human form and throw a regrowth on herself. Jade Lancers get a charge in. Cold Knights do turn towards them. Murderous Prowess is long since gone, but they still have the primal instincts. Some physical resistance, melee attack, all that stuff. Shades are back once again. Jade Lancers plow straight into them. Miao Ying's coming over too, but we have some further support from Dark Shards, just poking these guys down. I think Cathay is about doomed. About. Go, Jade Lancers, go. Dark Shard Inferno. Should route these guys pretty quickly, and we'll see if they shattered. Have you guys been routed a couple times already? One has, the other one's not. Terror out away from the Cold One Knights. Dread Spears poking down Zaytang. Miao Ying's getting awfully low, running away from Witch Elves, and the Shades are back once more. Can they get a volley onto those Jade Lancers? Honestly, might want to throw guard mode on and just fire. They did not fire. Get rolled by the the Jade Lancers. Golden Knights taking some damage. We have Dark Shards back, who do get a nice volley onto Zaytang. Even with only 27 models, each volley takes about 500 HP off of him, which is quite nice. Witch Elves closing in on the Jade Lancers, but Witch Elves hate dealing with cavalry like that, take a lot of damage on the charge. Zaytang friendly fires a little bit of his own Jade Lancers, and then the Golden Knights are going to get routing, but the Jade Lancers get eaten alive by the Witch Elves surrounding them, and then the Golden Knight charge. So thankfully, they are dead, leaving just Miao Ying, who immediately hops on the ground, probably looking for a regrowth if she turned back into a human form. But that is it. There's a regrowth. It's too late. GG. Beastcaster actually did manage to get 800 value, despite how short her life was on the field. Shades did fine, Witch Elves did fine, Golden Knights did well, and then Dark Shards mixed depending on which ones actually got to fire, but when they got to fire, they did great. GG overall. For Razel, Zaytang almost paid for himself, which is pretty good. Miao Ying did all right. And the Croman and the Cavalry tried to carry, but not quite up to the task. And the Peasants just got mulched. GG. All right, so you guys are on this screen. Goody goody. Back up to the top. Do this. Do this. And that is 1 point for RTK. Good start. And now I scroll through my giant replay folder to try and find Chorix versus Sigos. There we go. What the hell am I looking at? Lizardmen versus Bretonnia. Oh, okay. That explains it. I was like, why do we have triple Temple Guard? What the hell? And they got the buffed Solar Engine. That thing has a Perfect Vigor aura, doesn't it? I wonder if that's why he took it. Just for a Perfect Vigor aura for his Temple Guard. We will see. Triple Trebuchet might be a bit of a problem here for the Lizards. So for the Lizardmen of Chorix, we have 3 Pterodon Riders, just the normal Dart version, though they do still have Drop Rocks. Then we have a bunch of Temple Guard, 3 of them, 3 Saurus Spears, the Cohort of Waddle, Mazdamundi on his chair with Net and Apotheosis, and then a Solar Engine, the Bastillodon Solar Engine that has, there we go. He has his Vigor per second aura. And I remember, I was talking to somebody about this, or I think I was streaming it, but Mazdamundi I think is the best Lord versus Bretonnia. Being able to net cycle charging cavalry in your spears is like the only way to really get good damage back on them. What up, Phil from Spain? What is the engine going to shoot at? It's decent at shooting. Like, it still has, it's just a support, right? It's not about the damage, it's about the support. It has the blinded trait for your enemies, and then for your allies, it has Perfect Vigor. So that's what it's for. On the other side, for Bretonnia, we have Triple Field Trebuchet, one of which already got rock dropped. We have Hippogriff Knights, the Defenders of Fleur-de-Lis, Knights Errant ROR, Knights of the Realm, Companions of Quenelles, Questing Knight ROR, then a front line of Peasant Mobs, Spears, and the Fey Enchantress with Regrowth and Earthblood. But the Pterodons are spending their time taking out the field Trebs. Solar Engine is getting some poke damage on the Defenders of Fleur-de-Lis. Not a lot of issues there. And the Hippogriff Knights, without having any ground-based archers or regular Pegasus Knights, the Hippogriff Knights are forced to do everything about the flying Pterodons. And that is proving rather difficult for them. Mazdamundi stuck fighting Fey Enchantress with his Temple Guard, who probably need an Apotheosis soon if they didn't already get one. In comes a huge banishment, though. Onto 2 Peasant Mobs, sure, and a Spearman at Arms, but you gotta kill them all anyway, so might as well get that nice 3-for-1 value. And the Solar Engine is here to keep these Temple Guard fresh. They will never tire. They will never wear down. Hippogriff Knights are in. I imagine they'll be getting netted right here inside these Temple Guard immediately. We'll see. The Fey Enchantress Chalice of Potions is going to hit a different Temple Guard. Big damage on that elite Saurus unit. And then a Ruination of Cities goes through all those peasants as well. Rest in peace, the Bretonnian peasants. They're not enjoying themselves. And the Blinded debuff makes the Hippogriff Knights only have 12 melee defense against the Temple Guard. Still no net in from Mazda, though. I'm a little concerned he's going to miss his chance. These guys are going to get away. They are getting away now just as the cohort of Waddle come in. Damn, it was too late. Pterodons have taken out almost all of the field traps. That is very, very good for the Lizardmen. The Fey Enchantress takes a lot of damage. That is one big difference that people who played Warhammer 2 need to get used to, is the Fey Enchantress is not nearly as tanky in melee as she used to be. She gets destroyed by even the most basic of spears, which I think is fine. That is completely fine. But her Mortis engine, in fact, is not nearly as deadly as it used to be. There is the spear at last, Net of Amatoch, and the Solar Engine's lining up a shot because he wants to lower their melee defense even further. Daze takes it down by 10, but the Solar Engine could reduce it by 24 more. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get the shot off, however, since the Proc Spores are in his way. Those Hippogriff Knights are taking a lot of damage. The Fey Enchantress also taking a lot of damage. Bretonnia is really on the back foot. More Knights are committing. It looks like we have another regrowth coming in for the Royal Hippogriff Knights. Oh, and the Bastiladon causes fire damage, so he reduces your healing by half. So if he can shoot at the Hippogriff Knights while they're getting regrowth, he could stop them from healing. But the Pterodon sniping out the Fey Enchantress, she's unshielded, only 15 armor, and 15% missile resistance, so the Pterodons actually did do a good number on her. So I really like them still on. Hopefully we went over all of the reasons it was brought. Fire damage, debuff, and perfect vigor for your whole blob. Look at all these fresh Lizardmen. Thanks, Lord Master of Sotek. Thanks for making Lizardmen even more ridiculous. That is looking like GG. Fey Enchantress comes back just for a quick Earthblood. The Stildon's still trying to snipe her out. It's not really going his way. Firing down the line, poking down the defenders of Fleur-de-Lis a little bit more. Court of Waddle, get in a little over their heads, need to retreat. Still have a Temple Guard and stuff that'll come by. And a banishment in from the Salon on this big old cluster of Knights. And that'll probably be army losses. Lizardmen are silly. Lizardmen are silly creatures after all their buffs. Solar Engine did very well. Temple Guard did very well. Saurus Spears were fine. Pterodons did great. Good kiting around from them. For Segos, it was a rough one. His build appeared to be pretty hard countered. He had nothing to stop the Pterodons besides one Hippogriff Knight, so they just could walk him around the map. So it's GG. Well-made comp from Chark. Seemed to handle things pretty darn well. And that is a 2-0 start for RTK. As I look for that thingy. There we go. Ah! I forgot my hand sweater, so you people can't hear clicking all the time. No! The audio experience is ruined. Okie dokie. We had a similar situation with XMT versus NC yesterday. XMT went up 2-0 early. NC eventually scrapped it back to a 2-3 loss, but ODM needs a reverse sweep from this point. It is looking suspect, but I guess we'll see what happens. Game 3, Nurgles PA and Loopy. More Dark Elves versus Greenskins. That's it, canceled. I must never hear a mouse click from a streamer on his PC. Yes. Okie dokie. For the Dark Elves and Greenskins. Dark Elves, we have Shades, the Siren of Red Ruin, and then a Blackguard of Nagarond and Dreadspear box with Marathi up in the sky, Pit of Shades, and Soul Stealer from her, and some Harpies in the Vanguard. On the Greenskin side, we have Aztag the Slaughterer with Spirit Leech. Yes, just Spirit Leech. Then we have some Night Goblins, All of them are spinning loon variants. Then we have Orc Boys, Savage Orc Aura Boys, Squigs, Orc Boar Boy Biggins, and Morgum's Mangy Marauders. Pit of Shades is out from Marathi, trying to catch the Night Goblins on the charge. Pretty good timing. Could have been slightly better, but did fine. And they're just trying to do as much damage as possible to get these Night Goblins out of here. Ooh, the Orc Boys wandering into it, though, is going to be too good 2-for-1 value. But they want to stop those spinning loons. You can see the Dark Elves are just entirely running away. They don't want to deal with the spinning loons. The Siren of Red Ruin and Marathi are diving in. Try and stop these guys as the Harpies move up, chase off the guys that are already routing. Out of the spinning loons, there were 4 at the start of the game. 2 are routing. And will not be a threat to the Black Guard. Another Spirit Leech onto Marathi, though. And she does have some spell resist in her kit. 25%, not bad. And has a Soul Stealer to heal up if she really needs it. Spinning Loons getting close to routing, but they've also closed in on the Black Guard. The Dark Elves running out of room to run. In comes the first Spinning Loons, but it will eventually catch those Black Guards. 2 good Spinning Loon casts. Nice little bit of damage there, getting through the Shades and the Black Guard. Really good damage. Good start there for the Greenskins. Do have some infantry rallying, Dark Riders in the distance thinking about what to do with their lives. And some Night Goblins will rout off, but they got their job done. Another Pit of Shades in from Marathi to catch the Orc Boys and the Night Goblins and the routing Night Goblins. Everybody in this tiny area is going to take big damage. So the front line of the Greenskins has suffered pretty horribly. We'll see what the Squigs and Savage Orc Aura Boys can do. If they can maybe turn this around a little bit. On the side of the Dark Elves, they have lost some Harpies here and there. The Black Guard took some damage from the Spinning Loons, though they will be fine. And our Shades have taken some damage too. Dark Elves are down on the balance of power by quite a bit. I guess it's because Marathi is getting poked down, but out go the Squigs, out go the Boar Boy Biggins. And the Black Guard are proving triumphant for now. And the 3 Savage Orcs are firing in, but see how much that matters. Black Guard still have 100 armor. Archers continuing to poke away at the Shades. Looks like they just want to take out the only range the Dark Elves have. Though they also have the Siren of Red Ruin you'll have to deal with. But taking out the Shade, then you could just try and kite out the box with Spirit Leeches from Azhag and Archers and stuff. I guess it makes sense. Another Spinning Loon is cast right before the Night Goblins were going to rout. It went through the Dark Riders a bit, but didn't really do too much damage. And now Murderous Prowess is here. Orc Boar Biggins trying to charge in, though that is an awful lot of spears, and Orc Boar Biggins are not that good against infantry. Even getting a free rear charge. Just don't do that much damage to these guys. Isn't this the same build against Greenskins as yesterday? Maybe? I don't remember. The Spears of the Dark Elves, just holding on, chilling out. Sign of Red Ruin should be able to duel Azhag the Slaughterer just fine. This is 70 melee attack and a bunch more bonus versus large. Shades also push him away. He decides maybe that's not worth his time. Spears are sauntering forth, try and stop the Savage Orc Aura Boys from firing freely. Orc Boar Biggins are trying to cycle charge them a little bit, though they really won't do that much damage. Squigs rampage into the Siren of Red Ruin. I wonder if these Dread Spears get activated to go help out over there or not. Marathi's going to rear charge them and try and get rid of them. Isn't this the same Greenskin build against Greenskins as yesterday on the same map? I don't think so. I think it might be similar, but not the exact same. Anyway, a Soul Stealer plus a Doom Bolt is going to hit this area, doing good damage to the Broken Tusk Mob and those Squigs, actually just shattering off the Squigs, plus a Whale of Malice. Wow, that is a lot of unavoidable magic damage. Half-healthing the Orc Boar Boy Biggins right there. As Shades do shoot point-blank at range into Morgum's Mangy Marauders, who do seem to have stalled out a little bit. Oops. They want to back off. They didn't commit to the charge on the Shades, but they did just walk into range of being shaded down. And the Greenskins still ahead on the balance of power slightly. And I actually don't know who would be in the lead looking around. It's just like everybody's getting so damaged. Marathi's going to chase off the Orc Boys. Savage Orc Aura Boys running away from Blackguard. And a Broken Tusk Mob terror out just before a wall would have given them ITP. Oh, it's a sad day. It's a sad day. Azhag lands in the shades for now, while Siren of Red Ruin is trying to get free and go get him. Looks like she's just going for melee, which is fine. Her missile attacks don't actually do that much for her, so it's a large target, so the charge will be good. And then Marathi could even close in here, because Marathi also has anti-large and armor piercing. That could be a good 2v1 situation. Elsewhere, some of the Dark Elf Spears have been successfully kited out and are now just getting isolated and killed. We have one Blackguard model with 17 HP, but 16 leadership, because he doesn't give a single shit. Siren Red Ruin still shooting sideways into support for Biggins. And Marathi's getting pursued by Azhag. Another Soul Stealer from her just for the healing mostly. Like, sure, the damage on the board of Biggins is fine. Ooh, and she even lures Azhag into it. That was good. But still, she wanted it for the healing. The Dark Elves all of a sudden ahead on the balance of power. I do agree overall, though another Spirit Leech pokes Marathi yet further. How are Blackguard doing? This one's at a third HP, that one's at a quarter HP, and the other one we just saw Azhag dive and kill the final model. So the Blackguard won't be there in the late game. Broken Tusmog trying to fight back against Harpies and Dread Spears. Neither target is good for them, as that's all infantry sized, and some of it has Poke sticks. The Dark Elves have reformed lines. These Shades, despite being the focus of attention, are still around. And the Siren of Ruin is also here to fire, so the Dark Elves are more than happy to sit in their little spear enclave and hang out. Balance power shifting further away from the Greenskins. They still have two Savage Orc Arborboys with a lot of ammunition, but besides that, their army is in tatters. And Marathi, depends on how much Wiz Magic she still has, that she could still be casting Soul Stealers and stuff. Imagine a one-model Stormburn with positive leadership. Don't hurt me like that, Leonor. What did I do to deserve this? Savage Orc Boys trying to fire into the Harpies and Marathi, who are on their way in. Meanwhile, Azhag is pushed away by the Shades. And it is looking like a Dark Elf W. 2 Dark Elf wins out of 2 games. Must be a weak faction. Gotta buff them. Gotta buff them. Another Soul Stealer out from Marathi to poke down Azhag and heal herself up, shifting the balance of power further in the Dark Elf's favor. And I will say, this is a hill I'll die on. Dark Elf mains are insane. Obviously, there's some Dark Elf mains that are fine, but there are so many Dark Elf mains that are like, listen, my faction has been meta and strong for 2 years, and even before that in Warhammer 2, it was meta and strong towards the end with Marathi double Manticore, but still all over the goddamn place. But don't worry, guys, our faction is weak as hell. Just everyone plays them, and they've had a solid win rate for 2 solid years. But our faction needs buffs, guys. It's a dog shit faction. It's not the most overpowered faction, but Dark Elf mains are like one of the most notorious, in my experience, for just complaining about their faction being good. Well, they don't think they're good, but that's kind of my point. Where it's like, High Elf mains are a different breed, and I'm not either. I'm not a High Elf or a Dark Elf main. I'm a lowly Skaven main. But High Elf mains are like, they'll at least acknowledge reality, right? They'll be like, yeah, Imric is too strong. I don't really like playing with him. But the rest of our roster sucks, and you're like, okay, we can talk about it, right? We can talk about it from that point that, like, sure, maybe High Elf Spearmen need buffs or whatever, but they'll at least acknowledge the elephant in the room. We can all agree Imric is strong. A lot of Dark Elf mains will look me dead in the eyes and be like, Soul Stealer is a bad spell. I'll be like, bullshit, it's a bad spell. It's been in every game since 2003. The US invaded Iraq. Also, Soul Stealer is a bullshit spell. Coming to you live from 2002. Hashtag fuck Dark Elves. I think that's what we were all waiting for, is fuck Dark Elves. Next game on the docket, Alfredino versus Tim the Wilder. Wood Elves versus Scavinos. Wood Elves versus Skaven. Tough matchup for the Skaven in certain ways. It's mostly like the Skaven can handle whatever the Wood Elves can bring, but they need to know it's coming. If they guess wrong, they can be in trouble. But Alfredino is an amazing player, so I think he'll be okay. For Alfredino, we have 4 Night Runners and 2 Gutter Runners with poison scattered throughout the battlefield. We have some Rat Ogres, Skaven Slaves, a Grayseer of Plague with the Dreaded 13th and Vermintide summons, a bunch of Rat Ogres, Natty Boobo Sharpshooters, and 2 Wolf Rats, the armor-piercing type, which are generally not very good, but I think you took them for the magic damage, because the Wood Elf roster has the most physical resistance in the whole game. Like, their front line of Dryads have physical resistance, a lot of their cavalry variants at the higher end have physical resistance, so the magic damage can get through a lot. For Tim the Wilder, it is an Unholy Tide. Ooh, actually, there's also an Eshin Tribe. It's an Unholy Tide. There's a lot of Glade Guard, Dryads, Glade Riders, Glade Riders with spears or whatever. Yeah, Glade Riders with spears. We do have a Waystalker with Arrow of Kurnos, and then we have a Spellweaver Beast with just Flock of Doom. The Dryad's already getting through the Skaven Slaves, though a Dread 13th summon is coming out onto the Glade Guard, going to land right on target. Half HP off those guys, and the Stormvermin and Halberd are here to play. Blade Riders with their bows riding into Rat Ogres, not going to have a good time, and the Wolf Rats come in to get them as the Night Runners chase them up from the rear. That is just a bad situation for those Skirmish Cav to end up in. A little bit of a whoopsie, and they will die for their transgressions. Spellweaver of Beasts is landing in here too? I'm concerned! I am concerned! Those are Rat Ogres, my friend! Alright, he's going to get away, as Glade Guard offer a little bit of supporting fire in here and there, as Ixchis Triads and the Night Runners and Gutter Runners are harassing down this back line. The Widows are very far behind. Dryads did get onto the backfield. They're killing off Natty Boobos, attacking some of the Night Runners and stuff, so that's going okay. That is one way for the Wood Elves to try and get back in this game a little bit. Stormvermin Halberd Summon still fighting the Blade Guard Starfire Shafts. They'll fade away in about 14 seconds, but the Rat Ogres are just running over the entire front line. All of the Wood Elf Archers are under duress. That is looking like a very fast GG here. Wait for the obligatory Skaven or Trash tier need buffs, Loopy. Dude, I have been on this forever. I am not calling for Skaven buffs. I'm calling for healing nerfs and single entity nerfs. Like, this shit is ridiculous. The whole meta is just how much can I heal up my single entities. It's stupid. It's stupid. I don't want Skaven to be buffed. I want the fucking toxic-ass meta we're in, that hard counter Skaven, to be nerfed. But the Skaven roster's fine. It has their defined weaknesses, low leadership, all that shit. Yeah. Anyway. This is largely over at this point. The Wood Elves are just getting run down everywhere by Rat Ogres and Wolf Rats. There's not a lot left for them to do. The only things keeping the Wood Elves in the fight are these Dryads in the backfield and the Waystalker with full ammunition, but that's not really going to be enough to win this game. Skaven or S tier, they need nerfs? I see. I see. Don't know why people said they're bad. Genuine take. It depends on who you play Skaven against, though. Skaven are very matchup reliant. They can be okay as a counter pick if you know what you're not getting into, but you need to avoid Norska, Beastmen, Warriors of Chaos, Slanesh, Tzeentch, Bretonnia, Ogre Kingdoms, Greenskins, Empire. A couple bad matchups. Lizardmen. Wood Elves fighting it out to the end are rallying some forces, but just like look at the sheer amount of red on the battlefield that is left, and they'll be fine. I know, Human Boy, but you trash talk my mains, I have to do the same. Fine. Yee. This is GG. It's getting like just drawn out, but there's no actual like way for the Wood Elves to win. Beastcaster is just trying to snipe out the Grayseer. It's their only hope for victory. Flock of Doom spam can try and kill off the Rat Ogres. She's just trying to kill the Grayseer, but there we go. Do we not rush Skaven nowadays as Wood Elves? What blasphemy is this? He kind of had a rush build. It just got peeled really quickly. He probably needed Wild Riders, especially the Wild Hunters of Kronos, to kill the Rat Ogres. Because in the end, what looked like happened is the Rat Ogres just rampaged through his whole army. Like, it ran straight through the Dryads, and then the Light Cav couldn't deal any damage to them. The Glade Guard didn't have enough time to shoot them down. So they just got rolled here. Gutter Runners and Night Runners did okay. Not a lot of value, but I guess they didn't need to. They were just fine. We're back to 2-2. From a 0-2 start to 2-2. Good clawback. And it comes down to the final game. Calamity versus Big JP. Funny enough, this was actually the first game submitted to me. I labeled it as ODM RTK 1 because it's the first one I received. So let's see who wins it all. It comes down to the final game. RTK's Big JP on Warriors of Chaos versus ODM Calamity on the Empire. Betting it all in a Luminarch of Hysh. Luminarchs are good now, though, after the buffs. So, for the Warriors of Chaos, we have a front line of Marauders. Marauders. Some with great weapons, some without. We have Chaos Trolls with their armor. 2 Chaos Knights of Khorne, another Chaos Knight with lances. Valkia the Bloody, a basic Manticore, and then a Pavane Caster for Slaanesh. In case of Empire skirmish shenanigans, you can just rampage those Outriders straight into your army. Speaking of Outriders, we do have 1 with grenade launchers, Boris Todbringer, some Empire Knights, a whole bunch of State Troops, Swordsmen, and Spearmen mixed throughout, 2 Halberdiers in the back line. We do have an Amethyst Wizard, Fate of Buna, and Spirit Leech, and then the Templehof Luminarch of Hysh, with its bound net. Grenade launchers doing a little bit of kiting, trying to avoid getting in range of that Slaanesh Sorcerer. And the Slaanesh Sorcerer is trying to avoid getting in range of the Luminarch, so we do have a bit of back and forth hopscotch to play here. Grenade launchers firing at 2 targets at the same time. That is some insane micro from Calamity, and definitely not a weird, not a piece of weird jank at all. It is definitely Calamity microing them that intensely. Luminarch smokes some Chaos Trolls, kills 1 model. Thanks, JFOV. We're around. We do lots of land paddle streams. Templehof Luminarch firing. Into the tree. Nice dodge. I'm going to say JP did that on purpose. What is not going well for Chaos, however, is the Outriders still being able to fire. They're killing off the Marauders very quickly, and the Cav charges going ham from Calamity. Is that Chaos Knights of Khorne are doing pretty well, but they want to avoid staying too near these Halberdiers. Looks like they're going to wander off for that. Chaos Manticore is coming in now, and some form of rampage? No, the Chaos Knights of Khorne are getting netted by the Templehof Luminarch. And still, Valkia plus the Sorcerer of Slaanesh have not been able to get involved. I think they're just so scared of the Luminarch that they've had to take a circuitous route to get here. But Valkia does have the Demon Shield. She didn't need to be afraid. She could show up whenever the fuck. Because if this thing nets her, just like, you know, just Demon Shield it off. Fate of Beyond Chaos Knights of Khorne, they do have some spell resist, but it's not nearly enough to keep them safe. The Luminarch trying to get to safety. Chaos Storm Manticore on its heels, and Valkia flies in, pops the Demon Shield preemptively. There's no damage coming at her just yet, so unfortunately that will be a wasted spell. There's the Pavane we are waiting for, onto the Outriders' grenade launchers, forcing them into a melee fight, but there's not a lot here to punish. Some Chaos Knights of Khorne are trying to get through the front line to get back here and help out, but it's not really going their way. The Templehof Luminarch does skirt away. We'll be fine. Still have some Chaos Knights in the backfield trying to do some damage. Marauders are losing the frontline fight to the State Troops. So the Empire's winning the frontline fight. They've kept their Templehof Luminarch safe. And the Luminarch did not manage to hit the Chaos Sorcerer of Slaanesh, got blocked by some Chaos Knights with lances. Valkia stuck fighting Empire Knights and Boris with a Manticore helping, but the Manticore is thinking about routing soon. The Chaos Trolls have gotten through the front line for now. They're starting to run down the Templehof Luminarch. It should be able to just kite them out, though. And it's the lack of Chaos Knights that I'm getting concerned about. The Chaos Knights for Warriors of Chaos. I guess I shouldn't. Watch out for the Chaos Knights of the Empire, you guys. Anyway, the Chaos Knights have taken a lot of attrition damage. I'm not sure how useful they'll be in the late game. Outriders getting a bit pinched. Get one volley off into the Chaos Knights of Khorne before they're not going to have a lot of places to go because there are trolls behind them. The trolls are also chasing down the Temple of Luminarch. The Manticore and Valkyria are still dueling with Boris. Maybe they get some good damage done. Not sure. There's so many state troops left. The Marauders got effectively dealt with by the Empire Knights and Outriders grenade launchers here. Another Pavane to rampage these Outriders, bring them back just to finally get a fight, but the Chaos Knights of Khorne do get surrounded by Empire Knights. We have trolls supporting the Chaos Knights of Khorne, however. So I overall think that Warriors of Chaos will be happy with this trade in the end. The Manticore and Valkyria are still fighting with Boris, overall turning this into a winning trade for themselves. And where is that Luminarch? It's gotten away. It's trying to fire over the heads of all the cavalry. No, it hits its own troops in the back. Yet again, not able to get any good shots onto the heroes. Bye, Cash. Bye-bye. Tried a couple weeks ago. Love the teleportation thing between settlements. Oh, the Wood Elf campaigns we were talking about. I see. I see. Temple of Luminarch still trying to line up a shot as a huge Spear Slopnir comes from Big JP through the lines of these Swordsman and Spearmen. Maybe going to get them to rout in front of these Trolls and Chaos Knights. There's the Demon Shield blocking the shot of the Temple of Luminarch. Temple of Luminarch only has 190 value after using about half its shots, due to some really good dodging, ducking, dipping, diving, and dodging. Another Fate of Buna onto the Chaos Knights of Khorne. They were low on HP, but had enough models that the Fate of Buna might just take them out entirely. Valkyria is trying to chase down the Temple of Luminarch. And the Empire is running low on guys as well, but they still have Boris, who's quite healthy. They still have the Temple of Luminarch with a good amount of health and shots, and then they have an Amethyst Wizard with a ton left as well. For Chaos, it's really just Valkyria and the Slaanesh Sorcerer. We still have some Manticores and Armored Trolls, but without support, they'll die quite quickly. Boris's regen just cranking him back up to full. Empire has a mass rout situation going on as Chaos Knights and Trolls and stuff get them all pushed away. And the bounce power is a little disingenuous considering the Amethyst Wizard probably is running low on Winds of Magic after casting 2 Fate of Bunas and some Spirit Leeches throughout this game. So if you snipe out the Temple of Luminarch, then it's really just Boris you have to worry about, but I still think that that's more than this current Chaos roster can deal with, like with just how little they have left. Valkyria does not appear to have Demon Shield, but the Temple of Luminarch doesn't appear to have a real head on its shoulders as it keeps canceling its shots and spinning around in circles. So now it's starting to run away. Is there a Pavane of Slaanesh to rampage it back into the Trolls and into the Chaos Sorcerer of Slaanesh? Manticore's coming in as well. There should be a good number of Pavanes left on the battlefield. It's not like you used a ton of them. It's not that expensive for a spell in the first place. Big surround from Chaos doing their best to drag things back. Valkyria's going to dive in onto Boris with the help of the Slaanesh Sorcerer. Manticore's trying to take out the Temple of Luminarch, getting good damage down over there. But in comes the big Boris routes with all of his debuffs. It is way too much for these cowardly Trolls to deal with. They all start routing off. The Manticore routes off, and that'll be army losses soon. As even Valkyria is thinking about leaving. GG. And from a 0-2 start to a reverse sweep, ODM does come back for a 3-2 final score. The Chaos Knights of Khorne did okay. Chaos Knights in general got well countered. Armored Chaos Trolls did better than I usually give them credit for. Marauders got punked. Manticore did fine. Valkyria did fine. For Calamity, Boris did great. Amethyst Wizard did pretty well. Temple of Luminarch survived. I mean, it was around. It didn't get a lot of value, but it tried. It just hit a lot of cavalry. Empire Knights and the grenade launchers got most of the value for the Empire here. GG. So, if you're looking at that there thingy, there we go, found my way to. That is a 3-2 score for ODM. Good wins, and I will move them up to fight XMT. So that matchup is going on now-ish. Where are we? XMT ODM. There we go. These games are not yet completed, but this is their next matchup. The semifinal will be Twilight Harbinger versus Razel, Flying Taco versus Harvest Warrior, Maidave and Loopy, Ronin and Alfredino, and Papa Palpatine and Segos. Segos. Okay. Who did they replace? Calamity for Harvest Warrior. That's it. I was like, one of these names is different. Tomorrow and the next day, we will have MTK1 versus RTK2 and ODM1 versus VOD to show you who is in the other semifinal, which is also happening right now, so we do know the results of those things. Tonight, if you're around in about 4.5 hours, we'll be interviewing Blood Penguin, Faction War winner for the Empire. Interviewing him about Shadows of Change 2.0 Kislev, and interviewing him about Thrones of Decay Empire. The community submitted some questions. We'll be reading those to him and seeing his responses, so that'll be fun. What else do we have? I feel like we have a crap ton of stuff going on around the channel. New player tournament Saturday night. MTK and RTK, ODM and VOD. Mentioned all that. I do have a For Fun event I want to run, but I'm not sure when I will get to. But I guess I shouldn't announce that till we actually know what's happening, huh? All right, that's all I have for you today. Nice, quick, crisp, 45-minute stream. Get the hell out of here. I never want to see your faces again. Boo. Boo!